The world that we live in requires a transition, one to a low-carbon, just circular economy. The question is, how do we realize the potential of the benefits to make this shift? In order to change the way that we are producing and consuming, we have to empower businesses. Green entrepreneurs are key, especially in the Southern Mediterranean region, where small to medium-sized businesses make up 90% of the GDP. Today, we have the honor and privilege to speak to two very incredible guests. Thank you for joining us. We have Maya Karkour. Maya is an environmental and circular economy specialist and eco-entrepreneur. She founded EcoConsulting 20 years ago, which is a specialized sustainable consultancy based in Lebanon and the UK. She has been, since 2022, the chair of the EcoSwitch Coalition for Green Entrepreneurs in Lebanon. In her work to promote the circular economy and sustainable practices in Lebanon, she has recently launched the Circular Hub. Maya is a genuine nature lover and has shared that she is inspired by passionate green entrepreneurs that she has worked with. We are also joined by Taieb Nemissi. Taieb is an environmental engineer and a green entrepreneur who has worked with the SwitchMed Programme and has been supported from the development of his business model all the way through to the creation of AlgaePool. This is an innovative venture, which is sustainable. It's an easy-to-use solution to grow microalgae, and it uses recycled marine containers. And this is a great example of how we can simultaneously reduce pollution and create positive impacts for the planet. So thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it. And I really want to start off with something that I think is important, which is our imagination. We have to be creative to really confront this linear model of taking, making, using, disposing. We know that the circular economy is something where we have to design out waste. We need to keep products in that are durable, that we can be reusing. And then we need to think about regenerating natural systems. So to get there, we need our imagination. We need to be creative. And I was hoping, Maya, that maybe you could start off by sharing with us, on a personal level, when there was a moment for you that you kind of understood or it made sense, the potential for a circular economy.
Hi, Tasha. So actually, I got introduced to the circular economy during a training of trainers organized under the SwitchMed Programme for green entrepreneurs. And it was, in a way, fascinating to understand the concept. It made so much sense. So I got really motivated, and in particular when starting to work with green entrepreneurs across the country to support them in developing their ideas or positioning their ideas on the local market and improving them. And then a few years later, I attended the World Circular Economy Forum in Helsinki in Finland. And during 3 days, there were so many discussions, talks, ideas, seminars. It was so charged with positive energy that I kept thinking I need to do more and I need to push this circular economy concept further in Lebanon. Nobody had heard about it at the time in Lebanon. So I came back, I gathered my team, and I told them we are going to refurbish our office in a circular way, and we're going to create the Circular Hub. And basically, they looked at me, they were like, we're refurbishing the office. I said, yes, we're moving out of the main space. We're creating a space to gather people, to tell them more about sustainability, environmental education, the circular economy, climate change, all sorts of different topics through webinars, games even, activities, workshops, so that we strengthen this knowledge in the country about the circular economy and raise awareness about it.
It's amazing. It's really, and it's so clear how it's been a creative act every step of the way, taking the initiative to really change the way things are and create something that's even better. So thank you for sharing that with us. I'm wondering, Taieb, if you could kind of speak to your experience. You created something that never existed before. That is obviously very creative. So what was that like for you? I know you have this engineering background that you kind of focused on your solution and you created something new. I would love to hear about that.
Hi, Tasha. For me, my journey in circular economy started when I was a child. Um, because when I started to work to sometimes to create toys for me, so I tried to, to find unused stuff in the house, how to create small prototypes. For me, to grow vegetables, for example, and create something which were funny. Then, with the field of my study, which is environment, in particular in the blue economy, so I go deep to how to create production models and not try to use a lot of resources. And that's my objective. And I was passionate about microalgae and their potential, and how can we use it, and how can we produce it with very low resources and equipment. And when I see the container, where they are everywhere, even in Tunisia, and they use it to create buildings. Okay, and I try to wonder how can I produce microalgae with a waste, which is so marine container, to produce protein. Okay, with this unused waste. For me, it's circular economy, and understand circular economy a few years ago, the concept, the scientific concept, and it becomes clear for me. And I succeeded to create this AlgaePool, which is a new technology, a new way to produce microalgae. And that's it. So it's a really funny thing for me, circular economy, and it's really we should be in a circular way, a circular way of life, and that's.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And I keep thinking, wow, if there was just more Mayas and Taibs, right? If we could have people that were really leading and supporting the next generations. And in a way, that's what the SwitchMed program has been working on. So over the past 10 years, this SwitchMed program has really supported the tangible realization of a circular economy and sustainable and blue and green economies. And so I wanted to kind of get a little bit more into what is the program, what has been on the table for these 10 years, from the national partnerships, the technical and the financial support, the knowledge transfer. There's so many workshops and trainings, and the platform, which has an incredible kit of development tools that are specifically designed for green businesses. Taieb, I know that you in your business, you actually have used the Switcher's Toolbox yourself. So maybe you could tell us a bit about that and how it's been useful for you.
Yes, the toolbox for me is an incredible tools, or a series of tools, because it helps me to from the idea, which sometimes when we start, the idea is not very clear. So we need to have to be helped by something. Okay, in my experience, I was helped by some mentors or other colleague, but with this tool. I had all the resources, technical resources, especially other projects, example of project in other fields, help me also to make it more clear for me. And the platform is designed so that we start with the business model Canva, then we move to the business plan, and how can I try to understand the impact also of my solution. how can make it more to think about eco design, which is for me a new concept. And then I understand that I'm making an eco design, but it's not well organized. You see, also the toolbox is for me a dashboard. So I keep all my idea, all my numbers. I have a lot of numbers, a lot of analysis of my project. So for me, I kept it in the dashboard, and I am also improve it every day, every month, and make it more rich and giving also another idea in one dashboard. This is very important for me.
Yeah, it's amazing. And one of the things I love is how you really brought it in to make it your own. So it was a toolbox, and then you made it into a dashboard, and you keep updating and adapting it so that it continues to serve. And it's also something that I think is really important to highlight is that it's available in Arabic, in English, in French, in Italian, and it will soon be available in Spanish. So that's great because it's meant to be used. And so it's very accessible. I wanted to talk to more about. Well, I want to ask Maya if you'll help us to kind of give us the background. You've been involved with the SwitchMed program essentially from the beginning. And so you've really seen the program grow, and you've been an integral part of training the trainers and of the Switchers Support National Partnerships. So I wonder if you could share with us about those aspects.
Yes, of course. Definitely the program grew, and more support was given to green entrepreneurs across the region. This I felt was extremely valuable, especially at a time when we started learning more and more about the importance of moving in this direction in terms of figuring out ways to solve our environmental challenges. So these support programs were very valuable to many in terms of understanding and going in depth. For example, if we talk about the toolbox and the eco design journey or the eco design toolbox, it is extremely useful for entrepreneurs as they can really look at the whole life cycle of what they are producing or the way they are operating in order to make improvements along the way on how they can minimize waste, revalorize waste, reduce pollution, use better resources, save on energy. So it is a systematic approach that is very valuable to follow for entrepreneurs. But beyond the entrepreneurs, the program also helped creating a new wave of, let's say, trainers who understand more the circularity and environmental importance of businesses. So, not just looking at pure businesses, pure startups, and developing, for example, a normal business model, but really looking at it from a green angle, how to develop a green business model, how to look and question everything along the way so that the enterprise has actually a positive environmental impact. And lastly, in addition to upskilling and training new trainers to support these green entrepreneurs, I think what has been fabulous is the creation of the Switchers National Partnership. In Lebanon, I was entrusted to actually create it or launch it. And with a bit of time, we started growing as a network of partners. And today we are 31 partners in the country, from institutions to organizations to academia to corporate, all supporting in a way or another green enterprises and collaborating together in order to strengthen the support to green businesses in the country. So thanks to this network, which we renamed, I actually suggested a catchier name. We called it the EcoSwitch Coalition. Thanks to the EcoSwitch Coalition, today, if we are in need of experts to better support our entrepreneurs, or if we need to find a space for some of the entrepreneurs or have access to a laboratory, through this network, things are becoming much easier. We are communicating and getting access to these resources much faster. And so the impact on the entrepreneur is also growing, and we're organizing networking activities, networking events that are extremely valuable, such as our annual EcoSwitch Festival. So, and definitely positively shaping, the green area in the country.
Thank you. I think that it's really nice to hear both of the reflections that you both shared, because what we can see about this SwitchMed program is this incredible incubation and to allow entrepreneurs to switch and become green and become blue and become sustainable, really supporting that through the different kinds of toolboxes and resources available. But also, like you're sharing with us, Maya, is how that spreads out through the community, through the country, and the type of relationships and partnerships are an incredibly important aspect of the program. One of the things I'd like to talk about next is, as we move from the individual experience into this, national experience and our regional experience, I want to talk about how it is that the regional experience touches the global. Really, when we are really honest with ourselves, we have to ask, are we confronting climate change? Are these strategies and support tools and resources really getting us to where we want to go? And so I want to ask you and hear from you your thoughts about this. And maybe, Maya, you could start off and help explain from the impacts that you're seeing, how you see that these solutions are really addressing the global challenge that we face.
Well, I think the fact that at least under the SwitchMed program, we are collaborating with partners from the region, from the Mediterranean region. This is extremely valuable because, at least from a Mediterranean perspective, the Mediterranean Sea is linking us, connecting us all. So if the sea is, for example, polluted, and if we're losing biodiversity, we have habitat loss, we're having water shortages in the region, these problems are exacerbated in every single country along the Mediterranean. So we're connected. And what I've seen is that some of the problems that we are facing in one of these countries, most probably others are facing them in another country in the region. So the entrepreneurs in our region are figuring out innovative circular ways to address these challenges, to either reduce the damage or, on the contrary, come up with regenerative solutions. So by linking us all through the program, we learn best practices. We learn from each other, either as partners or as entrepreneurs. There has been a lot of networking opportunities, but networking is not just about making new friends, but it's really about learning how others are establishing their businesses, growing it, what has succeeded, what has not, why it didn't work. And so this can help others establish in other regions in a better way also, or figuring out what has worked and how to scale it accordingly. And the same goes at a global level. Obviously, we all need to be working hands in hands together, and it's not one person or one enterprise that will be able to solve these challenges. So we all need to move in this direction. And the part about, transmitting this knowledge and all the learnings, whether through reports, articles, podcasts, events, festivals, this is extremely important.
Thank you. Yeah, I have to agree. I really appreciate that you're bringing that. Also, you're bringing the awareness of the challenges in the Mediterranean. They are shared, and the Mediterranean happens to be a hot spot that we're experiencing negative impacts from climate change. And so the types of innovative solutions that are coming out in this region can benefit one another and the world. And so that's something that I'd like to talk to you, Taieb, and ask you about. With your solution, I think that you're really directly addressing some global challenges in a very local way. And so maybe you could speak to us a bit about the way that you're confronting the global challenges with your local solution.
Yes. So today, as you know, climate change is really a global problem. Okay, and for us, okay, I think for AlgaePool, for example, we worked a lot. The problem, like for example, for water scarcity and the increase of the salinity of water, of the groundwater, and this problem touch particularly the agriculture sector. And with our solution, which is producing microalgae. And microalgae, we can use it in many fields, especially to produce protein. Okay, and with AlgaePool, it's a solution. It's modular, and we can place it even in rural area and in the cities. So we can produce sustainable protein in vulnerable area, for example, in the rural region, which suffer with the problem of water scarcity and the increase of the salinity of the ground water, and give us an accessible tool to be reintegrated in the economy, in the local economy, even in the global economy, by connecting them to the value chain. For the cities, as you know, cities are consuming a lot of resources for protein, for natural cosmetic. So the big challenge, so how can we produce sustainable biomass locally in the cities, and to make it really next accessible to the consumer. And these very complex challenges, I think, in the technical way, because we have to not to use very complicated technology and make it easy to use, from the simple farmer to, for example, engineer or researcher, to produce sustainable biomass. The challenge is really not difficult, but we can make it by connected also with other entrepreneurs. So for our case, we are connected with other entrepreneurs working, for example, in IoT system to for water, for example, how to consume less water in agriculture, how to work together so we can use their technology, use our technology, make an all-in-one solution. This is very important for us to share this technical knowledge. We work also with universities. We work a lot with university, even with clubs in schools, to share with them our how solution works. Even maybe for them it's complicated, but we have to explain that it's easy. We can produce in an easy way. For example, microalgae. As you know, microalgae is, for many people, it's new, but I think it's a really very fascinating solution for the rural communities and even for the cities.
Thank you. I think that's a really important thing that you're highlighting, which is about inclusivity. If the solutions are accessible, then everybody can be part of that, and we really need everyone to be a part of it to get to this transition. So I think that aspect is really important to highlight. So thank you for that. I think that then another aspect that you're talking about, which is also important, is that when we have when we improve the efficiency in a local production, we're actually addressing the global challenges because we're improving the overall experience, and I think that that's important. One of the things that we'd like to talk about next is how do we grow now from what we know? This is an incredible program that's been around for 10 years now, the SwitchMed Programme, and when we look into our horizon, I'm curious to hear from both of you what you feel is working really well and where you see that there could be things to continue to focus on or put energy into. Maya, I'd love to hear from you about your vision for integrating, the circular economy and sustainable economies in education and other things you may have to reflect on.
Yes, I think education and awareness are key. And even though what has worked definitely is the fact that more and more people are now aware about the circular economy, but there's still a minority. And I think that introducing the concept of a circular economy, even at school level and definitely at university level, is extremely important, because then it becomes embedded in our way of living, even at home, and our way of working and our businesses, and the way future enterprises and corporations will move forward. So this could be done in an experiential way, in a fun way, and within the curriculum, or where the students can understand, for example, the value of waste and how waste can be revalorized. It could be done in experiential. It could be done as experiential learning format. I think this is crucial in order to make the next generation understand the potential and the possibilities that a circular economy can bring us. The other thing that I feel is extremely important is regulations and enforcement of regulations in this. It is true that we are moving in the right direction, but it will not be enough if we don't have regulations and enforcement of certain criteria and certain rules that corporations and manufacturers and industries need to adopt in order to reduce the environmental damage and also the societal and health impact on people. So these are, in my opinion, essential. Another thing that is we've seen that is great is the number of programs growing to support, clean tech, agri-tech, circular economy projects, blue economy, other, environmentally oriented projects, and coming up with ideas to solve these problems. But what I feel might be more effective is also to have specific programs addressing specific challenges, such as packaging, disposables, a specific type of waste, or going into discovering new biomaterials. So having programs that are very targeted to figure out the right solutions and to select the best solutions afterwards and push these solutions to the market and to scale afterwards, so that they're not just like small disconnected enterprises doing good work, but really something that can have a large scale positive impact.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I think that what I hear from what you're sharing with us is the need to continue to create enabling environments, whether that's in the education and the experiential education that is provided, or whether it's through policy. But there's some, very creative ways forward. And it is possible, but that needs to be supported. It needs to be supported at every step of the way. First, as in the individual, to feel compelled to and interested in the circular economy, as well as for the regulations to wrap around that. Taieb, what for you? What do you see as working well, or where you kind of would like to continue to see things moving into the horizon?
For me, we need more and more concrete initiative. For me, in Tunisia and even in the region. For example, for my experience, 3 years ago, I started a scientific club when I started to teach students how to produce, for example, microalgae, how to work on biodiversity, how to produce, medicines with a small garden in the club. I worked also with electronic clubs next to us, and how to use electronic waste to create equipment for a small production system, and it was really very, very funny. And for the awareness side, I am also the co-founder of the National Adaptation Forum in Tunisia, which gather more than 60 adaptation actors here in Tunisia, from NGOs, media, private sector, even from municipalities. And we are creating an initiative, and how can we work together from different sector, from different point of views, and work. We are trying also to work with big companies, we have to also to convince big companies to go to be aware of the problem of climate change, of circularity, of biodiversity. We will launch soon hackathons, hackathons, so to gather, for example, startups and to create climate tech solution, and also solution which not have to be very expensive. And I think it's very, very important. And when we try to recycle things and try to work with used stuff, this is very, very, very important for from the also for the economic side. Today, okay, circular economy, it's very interesting, but the economic models have to be sustainable. Have to be. We have to. I don't know. I don't like the word, but to make money, it's very important to be to create green jobs, to help a local community, to create also sustainable value chain. Today we talk a lot of sustainable value chain to bring. For example, in the agriculture agri-tech solution, these solution have to be technically strong, because we work with nature. Nature, it's really tough. See, nature is it's not easy to work with nature. It's unstable, so it's a challenge. But when we work with many actors, and also we have to bring policies makers. We have to talk with the people who make the decision to change regulation, and the change of regulation is a very long process. But when we show the policymaker that we have success story from the field, especially from the field, really, really concrete success story. This will really make the adventure of this challenge really possible. And I think it is possible when all people work together, share solution, and make it easy to understand, and make it also available for all of us.
Yeah, I want to thank you both, because I feel like you have shared your experiences in a way that takes the ideas and these concepts that can be a little bit dense, and helped us to really understand what it looks like. You have demonstrated, Taieb, in your own business, and Maya through the networks that you've created and the trainings that you've done, what can happen and what is happening, which is really important for us to see. The activities in the Mediterranean region are embracing the circular economy and sustainable economies. We are changing our practices, and it is going to continue. So I really appreciate you bringing your perspectives, and I've enjoyed the conversation very much. For our listeners, I want to make sure that we highlight that we have linked a lot of incredible resources for you in the show notes, as well as to our guests if you want to continue to follow along on their journeys. And we will look forward to the next episode of SwitchMed Connect. Thank you.